parts are. What this is doing is it's basically the rate of pyrolysis off that fuel has increased to the point where the gases are now vaporizing faster and getting higher up. As well, you can notice that as the fuel increases in temperature, it's also increasing in the actual light that's produced by the fire. Okay, so a really, really dull fire has a lot less heat in it than a really bright, kind of fantastic looking fire. Okay, as well, you can notice, if you guys kind of nail it down, that at the ceiling temperature, the actual gases are starting to ignite in that thermal plume. Okay, so you can actually see where the thermal plume would be, because the flames are actually hitting the ceiling and spreading out. Okay, this is where you actually get those fingers of fire that we talked about. Okay, so as well, now it's a little bit more clearly defined where that thermal layering sits, and the actual neutral plane where the smoke is basically sitting on top of. Okay, so as well, now you're starting to see smoke push from the cracks in the seams in the actual structure itself. Okay, so the pressure up at the ceiling level, just due to the heat increase, is actually starting to push all the products of combustion out of the building. Okay. Okay, so one thing that's kind of neat that you guys can see here is the actual pyrolysis that's happening. You can actually see there's a bit of a gap between the actual fuel and the flames that are coming off. Okay, you can see them igniting in the air. That basically just has to deal with the fact that the fuel's pyrolyzing and the actual gases that are setting on fire are rising to the point where they're reaching their ignition temperature higher up. So now that you guys can actually see it, okay, this fire is actually seating itself in the actual fuel. Okay, you'll notice that it's actually starting to kind of glow, and the exterior and surface areas on the actual fuel are starting to become burnt and charcoal. Okay, so what you guys are seeing now is the actual thermal plume developing a lot stronger than it was before because all the fuel has basically ignited the way it was supposed to in the first place. So now what you're going to start to see is the flames are going to start to lick across the ceiling and actually push out from where the seat of the fire is. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is a ventilation controlled fire, okay, so that because it's got such a large opening, okay, there's a lot of oxygen being given into the fire. So I'm going to use my handy door that I built and try to kind of limit the oxygen going in to see if I can get it to smoke out a little bit more and create that actual bank down. So what you're going to notice now, since I'm actually decreasing the oxygen to the fire, is you're going to notice a lot more smoke production. Okay, so as you guys notice, as soon as you kind of limit the amount of oxygen that can go in there, the fire is going to darken down a little bit, which means I can ventilate it and control it through ventilation. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let it actually get to the point where it's going to flash over properly. Okay, so what you guys are seeing now is the actual gases from the fire, all the fire gases and all those unburned fuels at the ceiling level are actually starting to ignite, and you're starting to see basically the precursor to rollover. Okay, so you guys can see how it's actually starting to spread out, and you actually are getting those fingers. Now you're actually getting the rollover where those unburned gases are actually setting on fire. Alright, so now what's going to happen is now you're actually getting the actual rollover, and all those unburned gases are going to continue to basically pyrolyze, hit the ceiling, and then come across and set on fire. So as you guys can see, you actually get those fingers, okay? And now, if you guys kind of be very careful, you're going to see it flash over in a couple seconds here. So basically this rollover here is a very good precursor and indicator that a flashover is imminent. Okay, you'll notice that it's also very delicate, almost fragile, the way it's kind of rolling across the ceiling. In a few seconds, it'll become extremely violent. Okay, you'll also notice that the fire gases are actually coming out of the compartment and setting on fire. There's no actual fuel there, any solid fuel, but the gases from the pyrolysis are actually setting on fire. Alright, so now you can actually see the air inside coming all the way down. The thermal layering is about 25% from the bottom is unburnt. So you can actually see the air inside setting on fire. And now it's just about ready to flash. So right there, you can actually see the fingers of fire. They're actually looking down, and you can physically see them.
It's dead. Well, I'm not dead. It's dead.
Okay, so now you can actually see, basically, the thermal layering has gone just about right to the bottom, and it's just about ready to flash. Okay, so now the fire is actually flashed over. You can see the intensity has grown considerably. Okay, as well, you'll notice that everything basically set on fire at the same time at the lowest level. All right, so I'm basically just going to leave that as that for now. Okay, you'll notice that the smoke production has increased dramatically. Please don't stand in it. As well, a lot of the heat has dissipated. Okay. From here, we also have embers. Okay, so at this point, we'd begin our overhaul and actually continue to put out the fire. All right, so I'm going to get into kind of some nozzle techniques and patterns. Okay, there's a lot of debate out there right now. Solid stream versus fog nozzles and what works best, right? There's no actual right or wrong answer. It's all in how you've been trained, your SOPs or SOGs, and the actual techniques you use to put it out. Okay, if you use either technique properly, you'll be successful. All right, so basically. For a fog pattern, okay, you're going to use a narrow or power cone, okay, so a narrow fog. I'm using a garden hose to use as an example, okay, so that's about a 30-degree power cone. As well, I've got a solid stream set up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically get this fire going again, and then I'm going to basically show you the different nozzle patterns and actually flow rates to see kind of the differences between how the flow rates react to the amount of heat being put out, and how the actual nozzle patterns and techniques kind of change the actual compartment fire itself. So what I'll do